Okay, welcome to Bitrix24 Live. I'm Damien Edwards, Commercial Manager of Bitrix24 Gold Partners Interface. We are in the UK, we have offices in the US and the UAE. And with me I have our Support Manager, Andy Naylor.
Hi guys, so we're going to be here for the next hour answering any questions that you may have on any version of Bitrix. So whether it's the free version through to a commercial cloud package or the on-premise, then we have both systems live on the screen to show you the answers to those questions. Like I say, we're going to be here for the next hour and our contact details are on the screen. If you do have questions throughout the week, make sure you put them to us at sales@intraface.com and we can start every session with those questions. There is a sale on at the moment, a Halloween sale that is, I think it's 38% off a 1-year license for any of the cloud products, and there's a 48% discount on any 2-year packages for the cloud products. So if you are looking at buying a cloud version of Bitrix, whether it's a CRM or project or standard or professional, then now's the time. I think that offer expires tomorrow at midnight. I think it's November the 1st, isn't it? So yeah, do get in touch if you are interested in purchasing a cloud product.
Okay, so we have had a couple of questions in. So one particular question about a business process on leads. So this business wants to be able to create a email marketing campaign based on a new lead. So essentially send out an email once a new lead is created. They'll send out a follow-up email. If they receive a reply to that email, they want to create a task. If they don't receive a reply after a period of time, they want to send a second email. If they receive a reply to that email, they want to create a task. If they don't receive a reply, they're going to send out a third email. I think they want to do this 3 or 4 times. So you can do this quite easily with automation in leads. Let's go into the CRM. So the first stage is new lead in advertising work group. Okay, so let's go into leads. So however you generate your leads, whether you generate the lead manually, whether you generate it from an outbound email campaign, or whether you're asking people to fill out forms, or however you want to do that. Once you have a new lead in the system, you can trigger automation rules on that lead. So let's just remove these so we can start a new one. I think what I would do, we've got first, second, third call here. So what I would do is rename these to first email, second email, third email. And then once you've done that, you can generate your first email based on the new lead status. So if we go into communication, we can go into email in here. So I can add my any conditions you want to add. It might be you might want to add a condition based on the lead source. So if you just want to run this based on leads generated from a particular form or from an exhibition or a particular campaign you're doing, you can add a condition in there so it'll only run based on that.
Yeah, just mention that it's in the advertising work group. So what you'd maybe want to do is categorize your leads. Maybe this one's advertising, so you could have a lead type of advertising and have this condition set to check the lead type equals advertising, and if so, send this email out.
Oops. So we can create our email here. To do that condition, you just click on here, and then you can select any of the fields. So we were talking about source, weren't we? Source is here, so you can select the source type equals, and then select from your campaign. So you just need to make sure when you're generating your emails, you're putting them in the right source category, and you can do that automatically if you're using things like web forms, or if you're generating leads from Facebook integration or something like that. So you can do that if necessary, configure your email.
Just one thing to note on here while you're in this email, it's quite a common question. If you do want to put HTML templates, just click on this little icon at the side, and you can see here if you hover over it says source code. So you can include HTML emails for your marketing, and you can also bring in, I don't think you mentioned that you can bring in any field that exists on the lead. So if you wanted to personalize it to first name, you can click on that and it will automatically fill in the first name. So you'd probably put hello first name.
Yeah. Okay, so we can save that email. I think probably the best way to do it is to have a series of emails in this new lead stage, and just have a pause on the second one. I think we can do it inside here, so we can pause this for days. I don't know what you've asked for, 1 week, so we'll wait for 7 days. Click on that box there and select that, and then you can have your second email, some text in here, and we can save that. So you can set your emails up to go out here, and this one will go out, this one will go out in 7 days, the next one's going to go out in 14 days. You don't have to worry that these are all going to send and you can't stop them sending, because we'll use a trigger up here. So should we receive a reply to our first email, then we can use this incoming email. We can use this incoming email trigger, and should we receive a reply to this email, we can change the status to here. We can do the same on here. We might want to put condition in here so that we know which email it is that they're replying to. We're going to do the same thing over here. So based on the first email, should a reply come into that, we're changing the status of this first email. Same thing for the second and third. And the other thing you wanted to do was then create a task. So when you receive a reply, you're creating a task, and so that's fairly straightforward. I think you can create a task in here. Create task. Okay. You can put the content of the task in, a bit of a description in here. You can assign the task to a particular team member you need to. Again, you can do conditions and things up there. There are a few more fields I think you can add down here, things like start date and end date. You can add additional people into the tasks as observers and participants. But essentially, you can create your task. You did say that you want to stop the process. So to stop the process after you created the task, you just want to change the status to, let's say, qualified. So I would just use this to change status to qualified lead. So that will actually close the lead. Again, you might want to change the descriptions on these, but I think that works quite well. Again, you can have a task creation in here and a change status here as well. So these emails will run until the point when somebody replies to one of them, and then it will update the stage, and you'll have these processes running here. They'll only one of them will run.
I think that's one way of doing it, isn't it? The only other way of doing it would be to have, let's just move that into qualified just for an example, and then you would have an email, you would have the task in there, one that gets triggered from an incoming, so it would automatically move the lead into this particular status and it would create the task. And then you could do that, couldn't you, slightly differently, so you would wait 7 days on this one, 7 days, and then it would move the status to first call in our case, because the first is the second. So we would go send an email out, wait 7 days, and then we'd move it into this, and then we'd take this one off. And then what we would do is copy this one, move it here, and then again we'd move it to the second, and then you would do that, wouldn't you? And then at least you could see in your lead least you could see in your lead pipeline where you were with those leads going through this particular stages, because then you would just change this to third call. Send, wait 7 days, send an email, wait 7 days, send an email, wait 7 days, and then you add one to the third. And if any response to any of these emails comes in, you're automatically going to use this trigger to hit. I probably wouldn't have it on qualified. I'd maybe create a status before the qualified, because that means it's closing out and winning the lead.
Maybe you want to win the lead, but if you don't want to win the lead, close the lead at this stage, you can have an additional stage. You could also, I mean, the only thing, if you want to report on this, you could update a field in the lead to, you could have a drop-down field called first, second and third email, and once you've created the task, you could update that field so you know actually which email triggered a response. It might be necessary, particularly if you're trying different content in the emails. I think we can update a field in here. Okay, yeah. So you'd have to create your field first, select your field from here, and then choose what you want to change that field to, and then that would save in the lead always, so you can then filter on and report on that.
I had a question that came through about the CRM forms, and just a query about, can you have hidden fields in a CRM form, which is useful if you don't want to your visitors to your website, for example, seeing the value of that particular field. And it's especially good what Damien was saying about the conditions in the lead, because you could have a hidden form that set a particular field and in the lead, and then you could perform that condition on that. So to get a hidden form field, you just need to go into your form itself and click into edit. And then what we can do is, if we just click on down here, I think it's in here. Here we go, default values. So what we can do is click on here and we can add a field and click here. So we can find out any of our fields in here. So maybe we wanted request type, and then we add that field here, and we can specify request type A, B or C. So this is going to be hidden. Let's clear that one out. This is going to be a hidden field when the form gets submitted, but it's going to populate this request type on your lead itself. So it is going to be a useful tool if you don't want that particular person to choose that request type in this case. And then you can base your automation off that the value of that hidden field in your leads, if that's what you're generating, because you specify here when the form gets submitted, what do you want to do? In this case, it's going to create a lead.
Okay, hello, is it possible to use document creation tool out of the CRM or in a workflow? So I'm not too sure what document creation tool, maybe the PDF creation tool out of the CRM. Is it possible to use it in a workflow? You mean the document creation tool that exists in the CRM, is it possible to use that in a workflow?
No. It's not. I tried that the other day. I know what you're referring to. You can use it in a business process, any business process in the CRM. It's in the settings and then automation. You obviously can create any CRM document in here. So let's just click on save, and then you can see here there will be create CRM document. So you can populate that on here. But if you're referring to maybe a workflow, then that action block is not there. So if we click into this particular one and go into a workflow that exists, last time I checked it's not there. So you don't have that option in there, unfortunately. If you do have the on-premise version of Bitrix, and please do let us know if you do, we actually have a module that we can install on your system that will allow you to generate PDF documents in workflows that are outside of the CRM. So it would use a PDF generation tool, and you can generate those those documents. We have quite a lot of customers who use those workflows. Maybe it's, I don't know, we have somebody that uses these activity stream workflows for a PO request, and it goes through a PO approval process, and during that it creates a PDF. So these workflows here that are triggered, you can generate a PDF by that method. If you're using the cloud version, it won't be possible at the moment. It could be possible in the future with future developments.
Yeah, there's our contact details if you want to get in touch now or afterwards. We're able to do a demo for you, and if you have any specific features you want to learn more about, we can demo those for you. If you have a particular process you do at the moment, you want to see how that will work in Bitrix, we can show you that. Get in touch at sales@interface.com or on telephone numbers, and we'll set that up for you. So I've got a question here. Is it possible to have a testing environment before making changes to the live site on a cloud edition? So you can't have like a Sandbox environment on the cloud. You can of course create more than one free account on the cloud if you want to do it like that. It's not really. I mean, you can test out things on a separate free account. You can't then deploy them across. If you're on the self-hosted, then that's something you can certainly do. We can create. We can set up for you a live development instance, and we can, I mean, generally on any bigger or any reasonable sized project, we would always create a development instance. We would do all the work on that site, and then we deploy it across to the live when it's ready. That means that you can continue to work on the users can continue to work on their live site whilst we're doing development work, and it also means you can test the development work, and when you're ready, and only when you're ready, you can deploy it. You know, there's generally not going to be any problems with it. So you can do that on the self-hosted. We have a number of different modules, custom, which we have available, which we've made, which allow you to do that in a really good way on the self-hosted. So yeah, if you want to get in touch with the upgrade to self-hosted, we can tell you what the costs will be associated with doing that. You can't do it on the cloud, you definitely do it on the self-hosted. I need to add a calendar event, but repeat them every week. Can this be done on Bitrix? Can do. So I think just like any calendar really, you can create repeat calendar events. So click on complete form, you've got more settings. Click on this down here. Oh, it's there, repeat. So you can repeat it with these different options, and then you can configure that to end or have it repeat on every week, different days of the week, etc. So it's straightforward, yes. Does Bitrix have a single sign-on feature? So pretty sure it doesn't on the cloud, but it certainly does on the self-hosted. You can use Active Directory, and most of our self-hosted customers use Active Directory.
Yeah, related to that, I had a question that came through the week just about two-factor authentication, just with the security aspect of it. And yeah, Bitrix does have, whether you're on the cloud account, so if I just jump to a cloud account, for example, here, you can, in fact, I think the first thing that you may need to do is if you want it default to all of your users, if you go to the settings tab in the left-hand corner, and you can see here, we have make two-step authentication mandatory for all users. You can tick that, and then you can specify how long they've got until they enable it. So if we just scroll, in fact we can go to our profile from here, click on my profile, click on, I think it's security here, and then I think we have on here, I don't think, let's have a look if it's passwords. Maybe we have to have that enabled for it to be available. Oh, there we go, yeah. So we would connect it here, And then all you have to do is download the Bitrix24 one-time password mobile application, and then when you connect, it will ask you for a verification code. That code will be sent to that application, and then you can log in. So it may be a requirement for some of the businesses, and you just need to enable it on here so you can connect.
Okay, when I create an email campaign, can I embed HTML code to speed up the process? So you certainly can. Let's have a look. CRM marketing. So let's go into an email campaign. Let's have a look at one here. So here we can add our segment, the list of people we're sending it to, and here below we can design the email. Think you can add in code like this. I guess they want to add in the whole thing wants to be code, but you could have.
If you wanted to do that, I mean, you certainly can do. Click into My Templates, click on Create here, and then you've got there. So you can just import your own custom HTML template into there.
So you could export something from MailChimp.
Yeah, it obviously won't. If you're exporting from MailChimp, it won't obviously take the editable blocks that are in MailChimp, and you'll be able to edit them like you could do where Damien was a moment ago. You couldn't have like hover over an element and click on the pencil and edit it. No, if you exported it from MailChimp as an example. We just recommend, I mean, they are very easy to use, aren't they, with regards to the editor tool. And if you click on the pencil, you can always add in your own HTML into here as well. So if you click into here, just click on the HTML and you can actually add it into the block itself. So it's pretty unlimited of what you can create these templates like, and they are responsive as well when you create these. So
this is a safer way of doing it. So you add the code into a block itself, and then it will format better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, you can have a lot of problems with how it looks when the recipient receives it.
Yeah, and it's very easy to change. So if we wanted to just click on here and add in a new image into here, I don't think we have too many on this machine, but I don't think we have any. Yeah, but you can quite simply just add an image, click on it, and edit it.
Can admin users hide modules, features for the rest of other users? So depends where. Depends what you're looking at, but they certainly can. I mean, if you're an admin, you can configure menu items. So we can hide items, or you can show hidden items down here. So that option's not available to users unless they're admins. In the CRM, you can do the same thing. You want to be able to hide modules and features. So that's really the menu, I guess. Hiding any of these features down here from other users. Let me just show you quickly in what you can do in the CRM. So if you're an admin, you'll see these select fields and add fields buttons that allow you to add additional fields in. And you'll also see these when you hover over little settings button that allows you to hide fields as well. So, and that deploys to all users.
And there are a couple of options in here. So if you went into the CRM marketing, for example, you do have access permissions in the CRM marketing where you can deny people access so they won't see the menu item. That's the same in the CRM. If you clicked into CRM and went into the settings and permissions, if you don't assign somebody a role in the permissions, then they will not see the CRM option on the left hand side. The same with the online store. You have the access permissions at the top. These items won't. I think. Do you have this in? I don't think you do on the online store at the moment, but you definitely do in sites. I think. Yeah, in sites you have the access permissions up here. So there are some modules that you can turn off for other people. The menu item will disappear. If you want to customize this menu to the left without having to just hide them in the More section, then you're going to need a self-hosted version of Bitrix, and you can tailor it. We've tailored left-hand menus for specific user groups. So for sales, for the sales and marketing user group, we've hidden every menu item other than the CRM and maybe the CRM analytics, and that's all that they have on their left-hand menu. The CRM being the home page as soon as they land in it. But you would again need some of the self-hosted version to do that. So again, our contact details are on the screen. Not had too many questions come through on YouTube, so do put them in the box. Can just keep on going, and as and when we get the questions, I think we've got a few more to cover. But if you do have, like I mentioned at the start, if you do have questions throughout the week, do send them to sales@intraface.com. Maybe you're struggling on building a process, let us know what that process might be. And if it's simple enough to show on here live, then we can do so like we did at the start of this session.
Yeah, can Bitrix handle payments from my customers? So yeah, you can invoice from Bitrix, and you can send a payment link. So I guess firstly you can add invoices to companies, and you can see the state of these invoices. So if we just click off that, and then you can see those ones that have been paid or cancelled as well. And inside an invoice, it's possible to send the invoice on. Get an invoice link here. Let's copy that and open that up. And so you can style up this part and the background, I think, and then you can add your payment providers over here, so we can pay this invoice here from with PayPal. So yes, I think PayPal and there's a couple of others, but PayPal is the sort of big one that we integrate with.
Yeah, I mean, for these, if you do want to set up the actual payment side of things, do go into the settings and into payment options and then payment systems, and you'll be able to see what we just saw there. I think we saw PayPal Leeds and PayPal Manchester, so we can give it a logo as well to brighten it up.
I got Stripe by the looks of it.
Yeah, Stripe's available now. Stripe's available as well in the online store side of Bitrix as well.
Okay, can I integrate my mailbox into Bitrix? If I integrate my mailbox into Bitrix, can I send emails directly from inside the system? So you can add your mailbox, and you'll get a replica of your Outlook or Gmail box in here, and you can send and receive mails from in here. There's a couple of things you can do. If you use Bitrix, you can then create a task from the email, and it will copy the content of the email into some of the features coming soon around being able to share emails in activity streams as well. So you can do that, and then once you're set up, you can go into one of your contacts and you can email them from here. Use your email address, of course. It'll come from your email address. You can add templates to there, and yeah, so you can send it will copy the emails into your history as well. So it means that you can see a history against that contact. Doesn't mean, of course, anyone else who has access to that contact can see all your email activity as well, which I guess is the reason why you do it, so you can see that history.
I've just got a question. Could it be that the cloud version has been dropped right now? No, I don't think so. Cloud product's going very strong. Loads of new features coming in. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
When does the current sale end? So that ends today. You can get up to 48% discount on cloud editions of Bitrix. So essentially, that's if you buy a 2-year license, essentially you're getting nearly a whole year for free there. You need to pay to order that today. We can do that for you. If you want to send over your requirements to us, we can arrange it for you today. But yeah, it ends today. There are 2 or 3 sales a year. So it's actually with this one, Halloween, it's unlikely to be another one until probably Easter time. So, but they do, occasionally there's some sort of flash sales. So it just depends really.
Yeah, we just had a question about I currently use a live chat integration. Can Bitrix integrate chatbots into my website as well? So they do have a feature in the contact center just with regards to, I don't believe we've used any of these, but I'd recommend having a look at what is available, what these do. There may be charges via these third-party apps that are separate to Bitrix, so do have a look. I think the Giphy one I've seen before. I've not seen any others in action, but take a look at these. They've also introduced WhatsApp via Twilio now, so that's another one just to be aware of. You can connect via Twilio and integrate WhatsApp, which has been long awaited to be added to the system.
Okay, there's our contact details. Can I get a trial of Bitrix24 self-hosted? So you can download the software for free, or a trial version of the software for free, and you can use that for 30 days. You do need to be you do need to know how to kind of install on a server. So you can't be installed on a standard web server. It needs to be a fresh instance. So can't be installed on a shared web server. I mean, so you can download it from Bitrix website, and you can install that yourself. I think the best way really to trial or evaluate Bitrix is to talk to a partner. So if you contacted us, let us know what it is you want to evaluate. So really need to, what we do is really get to the bottom of what it is you want to get out of the system. So we'll put together a list of your requirements. We'll find out from you which are your priorities, which ones you want to get going first, and we'll then come back to you and present how those solutions will work inside Bitrix. So it's actually a much better way of deciding whether Bitrix is going to be the right solution for you. Discuss it with us. We'll present how that will work for you. We'll tell you what will work well and what potentially won't work, so you get a good picture of whether it's going to be the right thing for you. Actually, trials, setting up a trial yourself, they don't really work well. You would have to have quite extensive knowledge of how the Bitrix platform works, especially if you're doing the self-hosted. It does take quite a lot of time to configure. If you don't know how to do that, it's going to be pretty much impossible to get it to configure to do what you want it to do in a trial period. So best way is to talk to a partner really, and they will tell you, whether it's going to work for you, whether what you want is going to work on Bitrix.
So we've got a question, what will be the approach to execute recurring services for a customer under individual tasks for a customer or under reoccurring tasks on a work group? Well, I mean, we use work groups for clients, so we would probably have a work group for each one of our clients. And if it is a reoccurring service in terms of what you're referring to as an actual task that you've got to carry out every month, then I would recommend doing it through a work group and then a reoccurring task for that work group. That would be the best way, especially if it's the same. You can create a task template for it. That could be another way of doing it, but you would always need to remember to do it each month. So the reoccurring monthly would make sense.
Yeah, and you want to create something to link that to the CRM. So you could actually create a process inside a company in the CRM that created a task and a bill, an invoice for that customer. Let's just have a quick look. If you go into automation, business processes, so under the company,
I think the only way of binding an association between a task in a work group to something in a CRM is you would, if you're doing it this way, there's an option in the task box itself to bind to CRM entity.
All right, you could bind that. You can create a task. I hope you can create an invoice or something, or lead or something from here.
Yeah, you can't create an invoice.
Create a deal. Okay, so you could create a deal. So you can create a process like this, which will actually loop round, and you'll be able to do this each over a certain time period. Let's say each month. So it'll create a task each month. It'll create a deal each month, and based on that deal, you can generate an invoice from that deal as well. So
yeah, you probably would. I mean, I would have a field, maybe what the order is. Is it 6 month service? Have a field that says 6 months, checks and then loops around 6 times with a month in a difference. You could do it that way rather than using a reoccurring task. Yeah, a couple of different options.
So that's a business process that runs on a company. Like Andy says, you could have some fields in there. To add those fields, you go into here. Is it a parameter or a variable parameter?
Mm-hmm.
And you'd add a parameter. So
and then you could have a list. So you would have a list and say 3, 6, 12. Click on set. Click on OK. Click on save. Problem is with this, we're going to need to fill it in.
yeah,
So
I'll just show you. I mean, I'll just show you inside a company kind of what that might look like. We've probably got one on here. Let's go into here. So once you set it up in the back end and you go into your company, then you win a new contract with the client. You'll have a drop down here. It'll be create recurring contract, and it will present you with a form, and you can specify what fields you want, like Andy said, length of contract. From a drop down, you'll select that. It might be that's actually the only field that you need to specify, and then when you start, you click that start. It triggers the process. It will create the tasks and the deals and do that.
I think it would be quite good if you're doing it via a business process and you are selling different services, you could have a drop down here, couldn't you, that said type of service, and if it was, I don't know, SEO, PPC, all the different services, then you could have branches that check and then create the task for that services and loop around. So is there a way in which I can update a group of deals by CSV? The deal stages. So we can, I mean, you can do that there's essentially 2 ways you could do it in Bitrix if you want it. I know you said a CSV, but if they are already in Bitrix, you could import them into it, select action, and then I think you can you
Set stage.
Yeah, set stage, and then you would set the specific stage. So you would do the import first, find out maybe created on today, and then you could update. But secondly, you can do it via a CSV if you did an import here. So we click on import deals. I'll just download an example one so I can show you deal CSV. Click on next. So you would import your spreadsheet exactly like the same. Scroll down, click on next, and then based on I don't think we have. Yeah, I did think it had duplication control on here. Maybe it doesn't. Because if you were to do that in a company or contact, it does actually check to see whether you want to merge. So I suppose the only way of doing it would be to import and then do that bulk update on the bottom here. Yeah, sorry, I did think it had the duplication control, but it doesn't on the deal.
If you have a self-hosted, then it's possible to do a custom import process or sorts of different ways of doing it, setting it up so that it's nice and easy to do every time you do it, and it maps the right fields across and everything. And you can do quite a lot more if you've got self-hosted. But
yeah, Deals is the only one without it. It was just double checking. So you have duplication control for leads, contacts, and companies. You just don't have the duplication control for deals.
okay, let's have any questions you've got before we finish off. But if you want to get in touch with us, as I said before, afterwards, then we're able to provide a demo for you. Obviously, to provide a full implementation service, including any of the customization you require, building business processes. And we have, if you've got self-hosted, we can host it for you, install on your server, and we provide telephone support as well. So we provide individual contracts for businesses that can ring us at any time with these sort of questions. We'll answer those over the phone for them, and we can do training as well online or on site in your office or at our offices as well. So probably leave it there. We don't have any more questions, but if you want to subscribe to Bitrix24 and Interface on YouTube, then that will and hit the notifications bell. That will mean that you'll get notifications when we do live sessions if you're interested in joining again. And if you want to go to interface.com/webinars, you can register for our webinars, which are on Mondays. But we'll leave it there. Thanks for your time, and see you next time.